Good afternoon. I am Mark Allen, and I'm here today with Arash Shokouh, the CEO of Ophtek. How are you doing today, Arash?
Hey, how's it going, Mark? I'm happy to be here.
Good. And did I get your last name right?
Nailed it.
Good. So, full disclosure, I'm a friend of Arash's. He and I have known each other for about 2 years. I've talked to him extensively about the work that his team provides, and I would highly recommend him to anybody that needs these services. So, can you give me a brief background about yourself and your work experience?
Yeah, of course. So I studied computer engineering at San Jose State University. I did my bachelor's and my master's there, both in computer engineering. After I finished up my schooling, I joined a startup where we were doing video intelligence monitoring for senior citizens. I did that for about a year, 2 years, and then I joined IBM as an actual computer engineer, where I was working on microprocessors for supercomputers and some common products like video game consoles that a lot of people use today. After IBM, I started Ophtek, and that was back in 2014. And I also teach computer engineering part-time at San Jose State University, just kind of to keep myself on top of the technical topics and things like that. So that's
Yeah.
a little bit about my background.
Cool. Well, that's a very technical background. And we, as you know, that's one thing we have in common. We both worked at IBM at one time.
That's right.
Yes. So can you talk about the services that Ophtek provides?
Yeah, for sure. So Ophtek is a managed services security provider. And what that means is we provide small and medium-sized businesses with IT services. So anything from cybersecurity, IT support, IT projects, network projects, and we're basically their outsourced IT department. So all of our staff, very, very highly trained, and they're all local. They're all based here in the Bay Area. And our client size ranges anywhere from one person all the way up to 50, 60 employees. And they're scattered all over the Bay Area between Sacramento all the way down to, actually our furthest south client is Los Angeles. So we've got about 50 clients that we support in California.
Very good. And just out of curiosity, would you consider supporting customers outside the Bay Area in LA?
We are structured to provide support, to provide cybersecurity, to provide consulting for customers, not just here in the Bay Area, but really anywhere in the world, preferably in the United States, so that it matches kind of within our hours. But we are equipped to support customers and businesses really anywhere in the country.
Good. So how much of your work was done remotely before COVID-19?
I would say our work was about 50-50 remote and on-site. Because we provide IT services, it does require some on-site time with clients, either for project deployment, setting up new computers, setting up new networks, setting up servers, or doing data migrations or database transfers. So that portion of it would often have to be done on-site. So I'd say about 50-50. The other half of our work is basically being available over email, over the phone, through web forms that we have on our website. So when clients run into issues and have problems, they can reach us as soon as they can. All of our staff have laptops. All of them use voice over IP soft phones that run on the laptop. So it's nothing physical that they need to carry around with them. And all of the services that we use to take care of our clients are cloud-based. So we don't have any on-premise servers that we need to go on site to use. Everything is up in the cloud, fully encrypted, fully secured. And so before this whole pandemic happened, we were at about 50-50, but we were moving towards being fully remote and maybe having one or two boots on the ground people that can go out and tend to clients and things like that.
And is it safe to say you're 100% remote now?
Have no choice but to be 100% remote. And to be honest with you, this is the silver lining in this whole situation is I've always believed, as well as my team, that there's really no reason to be sitting in traffic and commuting to do a job, to do a service that you can provide remotely, that you can provide over the internet. The tools are there, the opportunities are there. It's just a matter of sitting down and really embracing it. But anyways, yeah, to answer your question, I don't mind it so much. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, I think I already knew the answer to that question. So have you seen an increase in demand from existing clients and new clients in COVID-19 and the stay in place?
So we have two category of clients right now that are dealing with this pandemic. We have clients that have basically been forced by their industry associations, well, not forced necessarily, but basically strongly suggested by their industry associations that they need to stop operations, close their offices, and just be available for emergencies. So that's the one grouping. The other grouping are clients that either are or are not essential services, but they have the ability to continue operating from home, uh, even now without physically being at an office. So the challenge here is, what do we do for the clients that kind of sort of need to have remote access, and what do we do for the clients that absolutely 100% need it? So even if we have a business that's fully shut down, we still have owners that come to us and say, look, I need to get into my computers, I need to get into my systems. Even though we're closed, how do I do that? That's on one side. On the other side, we have clients that are just, I really need to continue working. How do we make this happen? And so that's been a big part of what we've been setting up for both closed and still running operating businesses.
So what have been the most common services that they've requested from you?
Uh, the number one top request has been, I need to be able to work remotely. I need to be able to get into my computers that are physically at the office. I have a laptop at home, or in some cases, they've just taken their entire computers home and now they need to get things working with their printers, with their home network, with things like that. So the challenge here is not, how do we get you connected and remotely? There are services out there that will give you free trials for their software to connect in remotely, things like TeamViewer or AnyDesk or LogMeIn. The challenge with those is that if they detect that you're using their software for business, they will lock you out. Or you may get away with it for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, but they'll take features away. And we have seen this happen out in the field. What we've been able to do is bulk purchase business licenses for remote access through services like SplashTop. So when you buy in bulk, they give you a huge discount on the license cost. And on top of that, we pay up front for the entire year, but we allow our clients to purchase one by one licenses for the remote access to get into their office computers on a month-to-month basis. So they don't have to commit upfront for an entire year for these licenses. Instead, what they do is we will give them the discount that we're getting from SplashTop, and they will just pay for this for as many months as they need it. And then once this shelter in place has been declared over, or at least eased, they don't have to pay for those licenses anymore if they don't need them, and they don't have to commit to an entire year. So it's definitely been remote access into their computers. We've had a few clients that come to us and say, okay, well, I need access to resources in the office because I took my whole computer from the office and I brought it home. So what do you do in that case? There's no computer at the office to remote into anymore. In those situations, we have clients set up over what's called a VPN connection, a virtual private network. A VPN allows you to connect from your home network, your home office, into your office network. And it's as if you're sitting in there connected into the office Wi-Fi, connected into the office Ethernet connection, your office network, whatever it is, so you can access printers and servers and folder shares and whatever it is that you have physically at the office that you wouldn't be able to just remote connect into. And you would think, okay, well, that probably isn't too common, but there are a lot of cases where clients have servers in the office that they need to get access to. So the most common services I'd say is, I need to get remote access into my computers at the office securely with a business license only for the amount of time that I need it. That's number one. Number two, I need to VPN into my office so that I can get to some resource in there. And number three, just your basic stuff. Hey, I'm working from home now. I can't get my printer to work over my Wi-Fi. I can't get my computer to see my Wi-Fi connection from my router, and basic stuff like that. So I'd say those are our top three.
Well, and as long as you brought up VPN, that kind of surprised me because I would have thought that was pretty standard. Can you talk about any other security aspects that companies need to be aware of? Because I got to believe that there's companies that have even higher security requirements.
So here's the thing, and let's try to visualize this scenario. Before the shelter in place, we had employees that were physically at an office, the employer would provide them with a router with very high-end security, with filtering for their internet connection, with software that was running on their machines that would protect them. But the most important thing was the equipment that's physically at the office that they can no longer bring with them back home. So that protection that clients used to have in the office is no longer there. A lot of times clients will just have the modem or router that was provided by AT&T or by Comcast or by whoever their internet service provider is. That's how they connect to the internet. These devices typically don't have a lot of flexibility and options to put security in place.
Mhm.
You can't change the way that it looks at your traffic so that it can make sure that you're not going to anywhere dangerous. So we're taking employees out of a scenario where they're protected, they're in this safety bubble that's provided by their office, that's provided by the network equipment at their office, and we're putting them at home in a more consumer environment where it's not a big deal if your Facebook account gets hacked, or your kids can't watch cartoons on YouTube videos.
Mhm.
In this other scenario where you've got workers at home now, what needs to happen is, instead of trying to harden and secure all of their routers and all of their home equipment, it's easy to go to them and say, look, this Comcast router that you got is just not secure enough. You're going to have to go to Fry's, or you're going to have to go on Amazon and purchase equipment. That's just not feasible. The amount of time it takes to ship equipment from Amazon, from other retailers to you and get that set up is just not worth the headache. And it takes forever these days because shipping is so delayed. So what needs to happen is these employees that used to work at the office, that had this umbrella of protection with the office network equipment, the protection needs to be brought down to the endpoint level. What that means is, instead of securing the office network, we have to secure the laptop. We have to secure the desktop that's sitting at home. We have to be filtering the internet connection on that laptop and only that laptop, because we can't control over, let's say, an employee who has kids that have friends come over with their laptop, who knows what's on that system.
Mhm.
They get on the same network that the employee is working with their work laptop, and the friend's laptop has some infection, has some malware on it that's trying to get out into the other devices in the network, and it could cause issues. So all we can do is secure and harden that employee's laptop, their desktop, their system at home, because this is all going to be temporary. So that's the philosophy that we come with. A lot of our clients that have asked us, okay, we need to get set up for homework, we've already had this kind of endpoint security in place. So it doesn't matter where they are. They could be at Starbucks, they could be at a hotel, they could be at home, they could be at the office. As long as that laptop is covered and secured with our security stack, then they're okay. So that's been a very important part of the working from home setups that we've done for our clients. If they tell us, I need to connect to my my work computer, we need to make sure the computer they're connecting with, tablet, laptop, desktop, whatever, is locked down and it's secured. And they're not just using, a spare that they had in the closet that's running Windows XP that has no firewall. I mean, there's just too many factors out there. So that's been the biggest thing that we've had to put in place for the clients to make sure that they're secured.
Yeah, and I know that you do a lot of work with both dentists and medical offices. Have there been any special requirements you've had to do for HIPAA requirements?
So HIPAA requires three things when you access information, when you access patient health information. You have to have the information that's being transmitted has to be encrypted. There has to be a second factor to identify the person that is looking at that information. So that basically means two-factor authentication, either a number that changes, or they send you a code to your email or a text message to your phone. That's the second piece of it, two-factor authentication. And then there has to be a way to audit who is accessing that information.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go back and say, well, this patient's information was changed on this date. Well, who accessed that information on that date? Okay. So those are the three pieces. You need encryption, you need two-factor authentication, and you need to be able to audit and log who is connecting into what. The remote access software that we license out, we purchase in bulk, and that we provide for our clients if they need it, has all three of those pieces in place. So fully encrypted, two factors set up, we enforce it. and we're able to go back and audit to see who connected from where at what time. On top of all that, they typically are already HIPAA compliant with their software and systems in the office. So we're just adding an extra layer of security on top of what they already had in place. But when you're talking about HIPAA compliance, those are the three key things that you need to keep in mind. Data is going from here, the dentist's office, to here, the dentist's home. And while that data is being transmitted, do we have those three pieces in place? Encryption, two-factor authentication, and being able to audit the logs.
Yeah, I'm sure it's been quite interesting. And Arash, I know I could talk to you for hours about this stuff. I know you're a wealth of knowledge on this. And again, I would highly encourage anybody that needs your services to reach out to you. I want to thank you for your time today. This has been great. And hopefully you have a great day.
Thanks, Mark. Really enjoyed it, and talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.